Hey, what's going on everyone? This is JoeYoursTruly back with the exciting showcase of the newest assassin by Mesus, and that is Yurei. And so, this segment is gonna be all about the showcase of the entire kit. So I'm gonna bring up all abilities on the right hand side, my camera's out of the way, so you guys can read up on what every single ability does. But essentially, Yuri is a mid-range assassin, and what I mean by mid-range assassin, she's an assassin that can like go in and out, do combos, and always maintain like this mid-range, like on your targets. Like for example, her passive essentially allows her to have range basic attacks for the next two basic attacks. So you gain 45% increase attack speed, and it also bounces too. So like if I use it like this, you can see it goes out, right? And then if I hit this like minion, you see how it kind of bounces to other minions and do all that stuff. It says it bounces only like twice, but I have one of the augments, which I can actually show right here. Well, I gain additional range and bounce 2 more times. So like, I think at max range, right, it's like you can kind of hit your target from like, what's it, right here, and that's what the 150 like, additional range. So like without this perk, then this range becomes like something like more like right here, or like I actually tested this earlier in the practice too. So you actually have to get a lot closer to actually hit them well, and that's why in my augments video I said I like this perk the most, because having this more extra range feels really nice to play this more mid-range kind of play style, and also just, you know, having the bounce like up to 4 times, so you just clear minions like much faster. So very good for offlane clearing, very good for jungle clear as well. So for your Q, you do AoE damage around yourself, and then you also heal based on your missing health. And if you use it mid-air, you jump up. So I can jump forward like this, or let's say I want to change my momentum, so I turn backwards and I heal up like this way. The point thing about this, what this ability does and what like the R&B does as well, is apply Soul Whip. Soul Whip is a very important mechanic on this hero, because essentially what it pretty much what enables her E to have no cooldown when you hit someone with like Soul Whip. So like for example, I do this, they have Soul Whip, it does nothing if you keep reapplying, it just refreshes the duration, right? But let's say I use my E, it's gonna create the skull now. So this is like the second, this is a very important part of the second part of the kit, is that your Q, your RB applies the soul whip, and then your E is what interacts with it and like creates the skull. And then when you kill the skull, you can see right here on the E. Let me give it the means because when you like the damage you do to the skull also is shared with the host. So essentially, like you're doing way more damage if you kill the skull and hit them at the same time. It's kind of like, I won't say like double damage. It's more like yeah, it could be actually. Yeah, it's like double damage, but it's only 10% of the maximum health. So it's actually very interesting implications right there. So let me kill the minions. Now you can see I have cooldowns, because like if I use my E, it's like a 13-second cooldown for example, and then let me give it that.
Guide me to greater power.
So like trying to wait for my E cooldown to come back in. I use my Q, apply this, and then now if I hit that target, now I get the E, and then when I do the combo with it, so let's say I kill the skull, I create a new one, and I keep resetting, right? So if they have a skull on them, when you're using your E, you're not gonna get the cooldown reduction. So it's very important that you play into this gameplay loop, right? You applying the soul whip to like your target with your Q and your RB ability, and then like then you try to kill the skull with your range basic attacks or other abilities, and then you get the E again, and then like you reapply the skull. Like this is what makes her E really insane, because essentially this is a movement ability that has no cooldown, as long as you keep hitting some with Soul Whip that's applied to your Q and RB. And by the way, her best builds are like kind of these assassin builds with a lot of ability haste. You can essentially keep spamming your Q and your RB, keep reapplying the Soul Whip, break the skull, destroy the skull, reapply Soul Whip, go in, and you have a constant live. I'm gonna get to full level in here and a little bit later in the showcase and show you guys the combos you can do, because the combos on this hero is really bonkers to say the least. But yeah, as support on E, right? is that it does whatever damage it does. It creates a skull, and you also slow enemies by like 20%, so it makes them a little bit easier to to slow them. Then kind of like basically time afterwards, so a little bit easier to stick onto them. Your E also gives you vertical movement, so not only your Q gives you vertical movement, it's also your E gives vertical movement. So make sure like play the C axis like the up and down like very well. And then since you have range based attacks, you can just base attack someone while mid air using your abilities like that, for example. For R&B, it's like the 3 projectiles, right? Pretty long range. It kind of goes really far away, actually. Yeah, it kind of goes all the way right here. So it allows you to kind of like walk into lane, apply it, then kind of walk up to E, reset, do all that stuff, right? And this one's like a really spammy ability. Your Q is the longer one out of the two. Like I think it's like you can think of R&B as like 3-second cooldown and your Q is a 6-second cooldown. So maxing R&B is very important, so you can spam that R&B to keep reapplying the Soul Whip for your like E combos. And lastly, it's her ultimate. So essentially, her ultimate, right, allows her, it goes up in the air and you pull people in towards you. Let me see if I can grab the minions again, because they're getting pretty annoying. So like, you can pull, you see the AoE circle? That's like how big your radius is. So like, if you, for example, the one combo you can do is you do this, go that, and then now you're pulling people in towards you. And you can cast this in mid-air, by the way. So like, you can go really high up. And I'm actually curious, does this actually... You see that for how high I am up and I just pull people in? So one combo you can do is like you can literally go like take a blast flower or go really high up and then start casting the ultimate from really high up and then you still pull people in. Like that's like an insane utility option because usually some abilities are capped by if you're at a certain height, you can't affect people below you, but ultimate is straight up just a full cylinder cone, like an actual tornado that says in the description. So if you want to like pull people, multiple people in and like a CC or hit while you're casting the ultimate, you can do that. If you want to like use your E to go in and do this, right? Because what makes this like ultimate like really insane is that essentially it gives you a free E reset. Let me say that again. It gives you a free E reset because it pretty much applies a soul whip and then it consumes that same soul whip and your E like resets its cooldown when you consume or destroy like a soul. So essentially what this means is that it, like her like main way to engage a lot of team fights, if you want to do like the most safest way, is so the EN do this ultimate and then reset the E cooldown. So now you can go in and start doing these combos to create more skulls and all that really crazy stuff. So like that's what I mean. Her combos can get really insane and complex, right? Because you can like have a lot of ways to engage and get the E reset cooldown. Because the main way that you want to really play around this hero is her E reset. That's like a very critical, important way of you have to play this hero. Because if you don't do this E reset, she's gonna be very like vulnerable to like people to chase after her, sees you lock her down, and she dies. So that's kind of like my whole plea on that. Let me just show you some of the combos you can do. So like, what you want to do again is like you want to walk up, you EN, destroy the skull if you can, right? You can also do that with your Q because you can destroy the Q and reapply this again, right? So I can do this, use this to kill it, do this. You see what I mean? It's like your Q, your basic attacks, and R&B hits the skull. So even while they have the skull like on them, you can still use your abilities and then still apply the soul whip right afterwards. And so like, don't have to worry about killing the skull first before using that ability. No, you straight up just like, I create a skull, I use my ability, base attack, and then I go in, do my sub combo again, and it's like, you see how crazy that combo just can get straight up? Is when you start doing crazy stuff like that. And then let's say I want to go in, I do this, go in, use my ultimate, get the reset again. That one I messed up a little bit because I forgot to reapply like my Q on B. But like again, the combos on this character is actually just so like overpowered, and you see how much damage I'm just doing to that steel because I'm going with a build. This is like a recommended build for offlane where you have a lot of like HP damage, but then also it's just the fact that the skull shares 10% of the health means that it just really like does a lot of damage. Like it's this character has some like the craziest like back to back to back to back to back like combos you can just constantly keep doing as long as you don't get hit. So mana is very important on this hero. That's why Mind Waster and Bonus recommended for offlane. A lot of ability haste is what you want to just run on her, because that's how you can reach the thresholds of you being able to spam your Q on the 4-second cooldown, your on-B on the 2-second cooldown, and then just have these back-to-back chains. So other game, her combos are not going to be like super crazy long. You're just going to be able to like go in, get out with your E reset. But those mid to late game team fights, well, long as you can keep hitting your same targets, keep applying that skull, and then you can keep like reapplying, go in, keep doing this, right? Like you can reach some really crazy combos on this character. It's not even funny. So I think this character is super insane. They say she's a jungler like Wukong, like oh Wukong's a jungler only, but he's actually super broken offlane, and that's why they nerf him. And the same thing with Yurei is like oh she's only jungler, but I think she's actually really crazy broken offlane too, because every time I use the ability, I get 3 range based attacks, and then I can E twice in the trade and get out. Oh, if I need a heal, I literally just heal with my Q. Right? I think this character might be one of the best assassins, no questions asked in this game, and this is probably one gonna be one of the best assassins, the one in offlane. Like Count's also still really good, but I think Yurei is enough to make even Count's one for the money as one of the best assassins of one offlane at the moment. So I'm pretty excited to showcase some Yurei action here in just a sec. Unfortunately, due to like some of the scheduling issues for this concentrated event, we don't have like testers or extra helpers to run games. So this next game might the gameplay you're gonna see is unfortunately gonna only be in 1v1, just to showcase her more in like kind of offline things. So I do apologize. Why I try my best to get other content creators to help run 5v5s, but like most content creators in the Predecessor scene are just only streamers. They don't really care as much about YouTube content as much, unfortunately. So trying to like actually get enough of those content creators to help run these 5v5s is just like well, it's just not doable, unfortunately. Based at least at this time, maybe there's a miracle happen and maybe you can run 5v5s, but we just didn't really got any help by a meta dev besides choice plays, because he's the chat, he's the GOAT of all time on the team, honestly. But besides him, like we don't really have like enough people to run 5v5, so I do apologize about that. But I'm trying to push for them to help get these testers on some meta day to help us out, because we do have this build out for a while to showcase games. So be on the lookout for an actual Yurei 5v5 gameplay, because I think I can convince these devs to help us out, get that actual content for this content creator event. Right? It's kind of like silly to try to run the content creator event without us actually having the 5v5 to showcase the newest, most OP, most schooner character, right? So that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed the following gameplay right here. Alright, so we're gonna be jumping into a 1v1 with Yurei against Kwang, and the Giga Chat that was able to help me out and gain some Yurei gameplay in some form to you guys is Choice Plays himself. What a Giga Chat, I must say. So for our build, I'm gonna do Warrior Quest. I think Zaza Quest is probably like her to-go option, but for offline purposes, I think having Warrior Quest actually helps out a lot, I would say, in being able to like sustain a little bit better. And I'm gonna go Divine Potion to start off, because I feel like she's someone that goes through mana pretty fast, and that's why Mind Waster is her like first item. But I kind of want to get some extra sustain to the health and mana, so I can kind of do my combos a bit more onto this Kwang matchup. And in game you can see like the argument is going. So he's going for Slay of the Heavens, so that means that his passive is gonna do more damage, and then he's also gonna like spam them a bit more. So I'm trying to get him to use the ability first before I like walk up to him and do my Q, so I can heal a little bit more and all that good stuff. And yeah, I do have range basic attacks that I need to get used to playing around with in offlane specifically. So that right there, his shield kind of eat up all my stuff right there, unfortunately. But that's why we use Divine Potions, so I gain some health and mana back. Gonna get to level 2. I'm gonna go for E, because this is where I can start doing the resets onto him if I want to take longer, more aggressive trades. So let's see how this goes into play. So it's not like a traditional like offlane matchup, because then we have to worry about like ganks obviously. But I'm hoping we're gonna at least get like 5v5 gameplay soon and like actual players. That'll just PBAI, which I might do in this video as well. So I applied the thing to him, dash through him, and then now I'm gonna dash again. Like, I got 3 dashes onto him, by the way, and that is just level 3, by the way. That's what makes this hero really, really, really insane, because you have so much mobility you have to keep track of on this hero, and then on top of that, it's just every time you pop that skull, you're doing just even more damage with your abilities. Like, this hero is like, her like combos in early game threat, it's gonna be so insane. Like, she literally has the perfect assassin kit to work with and offlane, right? She has the ultimate ability in the world that has like not even like limited by the C axis, right? So she can get over ledges, get away from people much easier with her E, and then she has healing on the Q, she has good wave clear, she has a lot of range poke. Like, I don't know why a meta series keeps making junglers like jungler only heroes, and then they end up being like super broken offlane, like this Yurei now, and then the last one was Wukong. Like, I don't like, you can make an argument that Wukong is not like super broken offlane, but the matter of fact is he's so annoying to deal with offlane, and it's supposed to be only like really a jungler. And then the nerfs that he received last patch was literally only for his offlane nerfs more than anything. So I don't know, man. They keep making healers that are junglers, but they're more toys for me in offlane. So obviously it's a huge minion wave, I don't want to fight that. But that's why I can use my arm B to like last hit from afar, and then last hit like that. So if I want to go for cannon, I can do that while walking up, which is very nice. Again, another part of the reason why her kit is actually just super cracked for offlane. I have so much utility, I have so much ways to interact depending on how the whole thing is going. So he's walking up, so I'm walking backwards a little bit. And now I'm gonna walk this way, kill this out. This wave is almost finished out. Let's start applying this. That time I didn't really get like the skull or the marks. But the fact is I got the Kwang scale enough to walk away from me. And now I can kind of like have this wave stall out closer to my tower. It's not gonna freeze, but it's gonna like make it like a little bit closer to my side. So it's a bit safer if I'm getting like a gank incoming, right? Oh, that time I missed my E, but still the matter of fact is I'm still having so much pressure. And now we have ultimate, so might as well pop that. Get the resets. And we're just gonna blink just to match his blink and get the kill right there. But again, like, whole ultimate gives you a free E reset along you hit someone with it. So even though I did my E cooldown, I can use my E to aggressively engage, hit the target, and then get the cooldown reset, so I can go back out if I have to, or keep chasing afterwards.
Return to my training.
And I mean, that is why we go to my Wisdom Divine Potion, because all that stuff does run through our mana. So that's maybe a nod of how they kind of tune on offlane if they want to, is instead of nerfing his damage that hurts the jungle, right? They could just make her mana cost more or not as good at outside jungle, and that'll be a way to like make her not as like, how do I say it, aggressive and spammy in lane. But I mean, if you're building like Divine Potion and you're building like Mind Waste and Inferno with all this mana, I don't think it's gonna be big of an issue, but it may help it so that she doesn't spam it too much. I think he just uses a bit combo on the right here. Alright, so he got the I guess the buff with his ultimate. Boo-hoo. I'm like, so we won't have to worry about that at least. See what he's getting pretty scared, so he doesn't want to walk up ever to me, right? And like, I mean, at this point, like, I could stop to like, you know, roam my mid or go steal camps or try to hunt down the enemy jungler, but kind of hard to do that when there's no other heroes in this game. Oh, he dodged it. I can still like apply my abilities though and back up after that, and now I can walk up again and see how I can just keep poking him down and pressuring him without even like ever being right on top of him. Oh, I missed my E. Oh, E is it's kind of a narrow cone, I must say. Oh, E is like a narrow, like, it's like a lot smaller than it looks like. It's like a lot smaller than like a steel Q, obviously. So there could be ways people can kind of sidestep it. as you kind of like play the hero, if you play against the hero mode. So like that could be like kind of how people deal with her like really annoying E. It's like you kind of like it's not like not a super fast like E like dash. So if you think they're gonna run at you a certain way, you can kind of sidestep it pretty easily, I think. So like I can show him what in a sec, right? So it's kind of like it's like not fast, but it's not slow. So like people can sidestep that, especially if you're trying to do it from far away from you, like max range E, you can kind of sidestep it. Or it's even easier if you just dash with E, with Kwang, for example. And I think that's what Choice Plays did. 1-2 times, like he was able to dodge my E because he see me walking up to E, so he just dashed away quickly and then just completely missed him. It's like, I can kind of flick and follow it, but it's not like super like reliable all the time. So my Q it actually has some increase. I wonder if I can jump over this. Let's see. So not quite, but if I eat over this, yeah, now I can get over the wall. Yeah, her E is gonna allow her to traverse the map very, very well. I'm gonna lie. So we max Q. We're maxing Q because again it gives us the health we need and lane, all that really good stuff. And it's also just like really good wave clips to be able to walk up and Q. Oh, so that time we took a bad trade because see what happened? We missed the Q onto her. We missed the E. We didn't get the reset, and then because of that, we actually took a pretty bad trade. But if we get some Q hits onto him, we should be able to heal back up, no problem. I want to see if I can bait him to come down. Okay. That's fine. Let's see if we just shove this in and just go for 2 buff really quickly. Because we have to kind of deal with this wave a little bit. He can kind of instant clear it. So nice. We can kind of like hit him like that.
An enemy tower is
Yeah, it's just very fast at taking 2 buff because my Soul Whips applies to it. It doesn't apply to main instantly, but for monsters it does.
This will hurt.
Yeah, so I think this is like a really good showcase of what I mean. Like, because now it's getting to the point where I'm just kind of flip-flopping the Kwang, but you saw like how we have to play that early game, and if we play it right, we're able to like, you know, what you call, be able to really start having snowball. Because Yurei, like again, it's kind of like a more like mid to late game assassin, because like that's when you can keep spamming the E cooldown. That's when your build start to hurt a lot as kind of like an assassin. But even so, her early game is like actually really dang good, and then Kwang is like a really dang good early game hero. And especially with this new augment that makes his like passive a lot stronger and all that really good stuff. Like this hero is actually like really busting offlane against like what's supposed to be like one of the strongest like early game duelists and offlane. But I think that was a good enough showcase. At least for this game, maybe we could try a different matchup and see how it goes. I just don't want to keep bullying the the choice plays too much. So I'm gonna see if we can maybe do another 1v1 or maybe go to PvAI. Because I think the most important thing is like showcasing like the early game, just how impressive the hero is in offlane. Show you guys exactly how you can win those 1v1s, and hopefully we can get in like an actual proper 5v5 and showcase her insane potential in those actual like team fights and all that really good stuff. So let's see if we can get into and then 1v1 or PvAI right here. Alright, we're gonna be going to the second 1v1, and this time we're still going against the Giga Choice Plays from Meta Studios. It's also solo single-handedly carrying the esports scene for that team, but also we're gonna go against Grux because I feel like that's the golden question. Is like, is this new offlane hero good against Grux? That's kind of like the question you always have to ask whenever you have a new toy to play within offlane. And so for him, his hero augment, he's gonna be able to have the duration increase when you use ultimates. So as long as we don't get hit by ultimate too much, we should be fine. So kind of jump straight into this. So this might be a little bit tougher to deal with than the Kwang because at least in the longest range in the CC this Grux do have. So I have to keep that in mind a little bit. And he has the healing too, so it may be hard to find opportunity to kill the Grux in comparison. But at least I can keep poking him far away like that and just harassing him in that sense. But he's gonna get the level 2 before me at this rate. So I'm gonna have to like be a little bit careful. Yeah, he's going to level 2. I have to back off just a little bit for now. Because once I get like my level 2, that's when I can probably get a bit more aggressive onto his combos. So I didn't get the reset right there. But that's fine because... Okay, so he amped up my E when I cast it, but then make it go on cooldown, this seems like. Interesting stuff. Wait, now he's playing against my Q range better, so it's hard to like lock him down. Or at least get the passes started, but now... Oh. Oh, what the? That was a kind of funny little interaction. Because like I think I got launched up and then it just kind of like it canceled my ability, but then it like what you call it it still propelled me forward. I need to rewatch that because that was actually like pretty interesting to see how that worked. Definitely gonna try and Q me under the way power. That's why I'm gonna play it back here. Dodge that. Yeah, so a little bit hard to bully the Grux early game because he actually has that nice healing. So unlike the Kwang where you can play around and then go for the kill. So I think Yurei is gonna probably show against the more high healing champions because it's gonna be hard to get them low enough to then go all in on them. Seems like. Oh, I missed my E. Yeah, her E is like really small actually. So I have to be a little bit careful about playing to that range. Like it's almost like instead of like going for long range E, I think it's better to kind of get in the melee range in E if it means I can get the automatic resets, right? And I don't have to put down more because it's still 1v1. So I don't think I can use my E spam a lot because now I'm getting low on mana, but I can kind of like look to heal, do damage with my Q and big stick attacks. That's why Divine Potion is nice, so I can get that mana region, so I can kind of use my abilities longer. But I think once we take our reset, that's when I think she's a bit better. Alright, so he has no mana. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna have to take just a quick reset. Yeah, definitely Grux can just beat out her, but I think I'll just miss a couple of E's right there was pretty critical for the reset and the passive doing damage as well. So I do think when I do play her, like going forward, I'm gonna try and get in the habit of just being closer to them when I use the E because then it's just like almost guaranteed to land it as long as I'm not looking away from them. That makes sense. So the Grux cannot flash right there because as soon as I apply like the passive onto him, right, I have my E reset. If he blinks, my E just follow him right there. So she's a hero that you just like can't just stay in lane when you're low HP, right? Because as soon as she gets a top field and resets her E, even if you try to run away with your life with ability, she just follows you straight afterwards with her what do you call, with the E reset. So that's kind of like what makes her really good as an assassin to finish off people because she has the mobility to engage, do the damage, and then follow afterwards to still finish them off. So I think Grux is gonna get 6 right here in a sec. I'm actually gonna stay. I'm gonna see if I can catch him off guard. Oh yeah. Oh, she canceled my ultimate. Yeah, so as soon as you get CC with this hero, you'll he's gonna blink after me, I think. Yeah. So like when you try to use your ultimate, you either have to like E up in the air and then use your ultimate so you don't get CC as easily, or you have to wait all the CC to be done, then use the ultimate, because that's like the main weakness of the ultimate, is that it can be CC pretty easily if you're not careful. Like, it can be silenced by like Victor or silenced by a Silentarium quest on a support hero. So you almost have to, you want to engage with your ultimate, but sometimes better not to do that because you are vulnerable to just someone CC right afterwards. So you almost want to use it after you know they use the CC on top of you, right?
Whisper through the veil. My skills grow sharper.
So Grux is trying to play outside my range a little bit. So that part, I'll make sure I actually do the combos right. Face him out a little bit. Go back in queue. Yeah, that felt way better. Like, it's like you would think of the movability, you want to like run away, create that max distance and max range E, but you just can't do that as easily with this hero and offlane because people can just sidestep that ability straight up. As I'm noticing more and more playing against like choice plays after you caught on to like how it feels. And I haven't really done any jungle clears, so I'm actually very curious to see how this feels. And one thing I am noticing is that like you apply your mark against all the minions, and if you use your E and only hit 1 or 2 of them, you can still E right afterwards and hit the F1 2 minions you didn't hit to keep resetting her E. So I might do a PvAI jungle game on her to see about how her early clears are, because I think her early clears is gonna be really fast because all of her abilities just like cleaves, does AoE damage, and I can probably keep spamming my E on the same cam. Like, for example, if I do this again, where I do this, do this, do that, and do that one more time. And that's just one ability, right? And then if I like use my basic attack, it cleaves, it goes bounce across everyone. Like, her clears are probably gonna be just one of the fastest in the game. Like, they just give this hero to almost everything she wants for every single world that she's in. So that time I'm gonna use that to create distance, because if I try to retaliate by using his hero E, I can just dash out again after getting like a free trade, as you guys saw. And that R&B is like really long range actually. Like showing the power to especially. So I wonder if I can kind of bully him by just doing that. Does this bounce? It doesn't bounce on towers, it seems like. Yeah, this character is really cracking offlane. And like Choice is playing it like pretty well for the most part. It's just like Grux hates characters with all this mobility, and then she literally just oh, he dashed afterwards, but I think my oh no, I may die right here. But luckily I was already ahead, and Yurei still does a lot of retaliate damage because I was gonna heal off the Q and just keep going afterwards. Yeah, this character is really just not okay in offlane, because even against Grux, right, who's like supposed to be a hero that should count Yurei more, because he has like the healing, so it's hard for me to find ways to finish him off. But the thing is like, I can just 100 seal him anytime I want, especially with ultimate active, because that's pretty much like I can reset my E 3 to 5 times. My E is doing that damage like 141 damage times 5, right? And that's like, I have a 1700, he probably has 2000 HP, something like that. So like, I'm doing like easily a quarter of his HP with all the E resets I'm doing. And then I top that off with my Q and R&B, my passive, like doing like the skull damage too. Like, this hero is actually like really insane. Really insane offlane. Still, I ironically really like assassins. It's just the problem with this game is like they don't really actually have a good assassin roster. Like, it's really just Feynmouth, Kalai, and Countess. Countess is the only one that's like actually super viable, strong in offlane. Kalai is more jungle. Feynmouth is sort of more jungle, so it can be something to play offlane, but like she's like this like character really puts like Faye Mao to shame.
Another day,
Like just
another
playing
day,
her
a new
and just seeing like all the
retribution.
utility movement ability that she has. Like her movement ability is just better than Faye Mao straight up. Because the problem with Faye Mao, right? The problem with Faye Mao is like you go in you with your RB and it's just like unless you get killed, you can never use your RB right afterwards. So it makes Faye Mao very all in or nothing character where if I don't get killed, I don't get the RB to get out and then just die. Right? But for Yuri, it's like as long as I hit someone with my Q on B, then E on top of them, I can immediately E afterwards, right? So like in terms of mobility, she beats Faye Mao really easily, and Faye Mao's supposed to be some of the most elusive characters, but she even beats him outright. She has the healing that he doesn't have. He has better wave clear than all the other assassins have. Like, she is the definition of probably one of the most overbloated characters that Masters has kind of cooked up, but for both good and bad. Like, it's just like, just kind of like that hero that it's making these older heroes like Fame Out just looks very outdated because like she just has so much going for her that these other older heroes just doesn't really match, right? It's that and the fact that I kind of feel like even with the assassin characters we have, the only one that kind of felt proper was the Kalari. And that's why Kalari is sort of like one of the most pick of band heroes for Paragon players, right? Because she is actually the character that actually plays like a true consistent assassin. Like Callis is an assassin, but she offers more healing, sustained high DPS with some burst damage capabilities, right? Like most of her damage comes from a passive if you kind of play her. So she's someone that like she hits hard with the ultimate, but a lot of the damage is coming from blocking the passive over and over with the shoot damage and all that. And the Fame Mao is like, okay, yeah, he executes people and then like he gets the resets. But the problem is the trying to reset is the problem with him. If you don't have enough damage to kill people, as Fame Mao, like it's very feast famine. You either like go 10 and 0 and then you just always just 100 shot people, or you don't and then you just cannot play the game. I feel like with Yuri, even if I'm behind on Yuri, I feel like I can play the game still because I have that mid range. I can keep playing. I have all this mobility to kind of chase targets or be really hard to catch in team fights. Like I think Yuri is kind of like that bar that Omesu is saying for new assassin characters going forward, right? And it's good. It's good that they're getting ambitious for this character because it's like we need a good assassin character because assassin characters are crucial and a lot of metas are shutting down like some of the really oppressive picks. Like think of like how oppressive Scholar is at the ADC, or just I'm trying to think of what's another good example of a really squishy like or keyword mode like some of these like really squishy targets that are like really impressive. They're like perfect pickings for assassins, but then if you try to like play Fame Mao and dive in Murdoch, well Murdoch just pushes you away and then he whips you with his like Q and it's just like you don't get to do assassin things to Murdoch even though you're literally in the 1v1 with them. Like ADCs in this game just have more better 1v1 capabilities and elusiveness or CC compared to other MOBAs out there. So it's a lot harder for the traditional assassin to like even this game to isolate and do really good against the 1v1s, but Yuri is like pushes that boundary of like what it means to actually play a proper assassin and in this like hero roster where even ADCs have a lot of utility and crazy like stuff they have in their kit. So it kind of feels like with her release, she's gonna make some heroes like the Fame Mount more obsolete, unfortunately, because of just how much more her kit offers, I would say. But I wouldn't want to get into a proper game. Like this is purely more talking about her 1v1s. I've been kind of noticing and playing some PvAI. I unfortunately have not at the time of the recording I haven't gotten to an actual proper 5v5 yet because they it's really cool that Mr. put out this cultivated event. And usually they do a good job at making these cultivated events and then having like support players or testers come and fill out the game so we can run all these 5v5s back to back to back. But unfortunately, none of that was available. So this whole preview, like early showcase, turned into more like okay, showcase like the augment system, showcase some gameplay of Yuri, and hopefully, in the coming days that I can convince Messi so we get some help to actually fill these games for proper 5v5 and actually showcase Yuri in action because I think this hero is going to be really insane to play in 5v5s and I'm really hoping that I can showcase to you guys as soon as I can. But I think I'm gonna do a PvAI game just so for those who are curious about how early jungle clears, but I'm really gonna go like 10-0 in less than 10 minutes because PvAI, right? So it's gonna be mainly just there if you want to see how jungle clears, see how you want to gank people, all that stuff, and hopefully we can get a proper PvP 5v5 soon. But let's see if we can jump into this PvAI and just kind of go from there. Alright everyone, so I waited around a little bit longer. We were unfortunately able to get like a 5v5 for at least today. I asked around, it seems like we could maybe get some actual proper 5v5 later this weekend, but that just means that Saturday I may or may not actually have anything for you guys. It'd be more like a Sunday. But that's also gonna be tough because I actually have a brand new PC incoming. I've been meaning to upgrade for a while, right? And I finally got around to like ordering a PC that's gonna be a huge upgrade to the current setup I have, especially since I'm going to Alaska. I kind of need like a new setup because if I'm trying, I'm at the point where if I don't get the new setup before I leave, if I try to get a new PC and like Alaska, I'm gonna get upcharged crazy amount with all like the shipping fees and stuff. So I'm gonna have to like what do you call, get it now before I leave is my big thing. So I'm gonna just showcase some like Yurei jungle, just at least showcase her early like games she can do, her early clears, all that really good stuff, right? Because I think this hero has some really fast clears. It doesn't seem like too crazy now that I'm playing with it a bit more. So seems like, but I think what makes her clears, what's gonna be really important to make sure her clears are good, is getting the multiple E resets. To see how I purposely like arced my E so that I don't hit both minions at the same time. I hit one and then I use my E again to hit both to get the double reset. Like I think that's gonna be really important. So you can get the kind of like all the resets. I can do it again right here. Once you get like your all 3 builds online, that's when it doesn't really matter as much, I think. But for the early levels, if you can try min-max your E useless on each camp, I think it makes her clears a lot more meaningful, I would say. Because the problem with trying to use your E for clears, right, is with the fact that it's not on a long cooldown once you don't have access to it anymore. I have to look awkward. I'm trying to go back up there. So her clears, like, I thought it was going to be a lot more insane, but it seems like it was fine-tuned decently well because now I only just got to River Buff. Because some heroes can't do all this clear and get to River Buff, but I think she can get to it faster still. Because see how I have all this downtime to like wait for River Buff? Sometimes like when I play these heroes, like kind of feel like I'm getting to right when it spawns in. It's like an issue I have. So kind of like a simple gank. I use my Q to jump over, B to mark, E to go in, and then E again, right? It's kind of like the simple bread and butter combo you can do with this hero. And I should be able to just like walk into lane on B, see how I mark Rebellica. Then I can like do that to kind of like finish her off with basic attacks. If that doesn't kill her, then I can E in, right? But it probably means I have to like blink right afterwards. Unless I can like, what was it? Unless it's a situation where I can E in after I hit them with an L on B or Q, and then I can E out again. That's just stuff you have to kind of want to get used to thinking about when you do play this hero in jungle. It's like think about how you want to set up your combos so you can get all the maximum uses of your dashes to do the damage, or have at least that one dash you need to actually get out from a sticky situation.
A powerful tool.
So I think this is kind of like her better like jungle builds, right? Like obviously like since we're doing jungle, we don't have to go Warrior's Quest for more sustain. We just go Assassin Quest for more damage pen. Bounty also makes sense because you're gonna be doing a lot of damage to low target HP targets, so you can kind of stack this up pretty nicely. And I do hear Rampage, I think, on my camp. Oh, and that's his augment, by the way. See how like he kept using his E right there because of his like augment, which he has, where it's like the rumbling, where you just constantly like spam it right there, as you guys saw. So pretty cool stuff you see from the AI on our perspective. But I don't think you're gonna do my Pain Reaper on her necessarily. And the reason why I say that too is because what you need on this hero is ability haste. You have more than enough of ability with your E alone, and then you have like the range-based attack to kind of keep hitting people from afar. Like you need ability haste, and Pain Weaver doesn't give you that at all. So for you to be able to do your combos and reach your thresholds to like finish people off, like you need to build ability haste on your first 3 items at the very least. Just then, like, if you kind of stack like 8, 16, 24, get to 30, I think that's like kind of the threshold you want to reach so you can start like using all the abilities back to back. I see. But then it's like what you call. Do you want to build ability haste almost every single game on your first 3 items? On your fourth item, I think that's when you can like start what you call. That's when you can start like building like Pain Weaver or other items without ability haste necessarily. But like you definitely have to build tons of ability haste on top, because otherwise you can't get the resets on the E that you need from having low cooldown on your other abilities. And she actually has a surprising amount of high damage on those camps, by the way. Because the one thing that you kind of notice is like this mock thing doesn't apply to the big like monsters like the Fainters and Old Prime. So your passive like soul thing won't apply, right? But that makes sense because it's like it's based on 10% of the HP. So like I think if you can apply the skull onto the monster camps, it makes your clears like really fast, right? So trying to showcase like a combo you can do right here. Because you saw like how I E up in the air and then I was able to like do my ultimate pull like to like bring them down and reset the E. I think more often than not, you're gonna have to like use your E ultimate in the air. Because if you don't use your ultimate in the air, it makes it really vulnerable to easy CC like the stronger gas grenade or the Paragon knockup, or Faye being able to ult you. But if you're like in the air, like way up here, and then using your ultimate can reach the ground regardless of how high you're up. And so if you're really high up in the air, that's how you can actually pull people down. So there might be some situations where you want to use your ultimate on the ground, like right here, for example. Like if I know she doesn't have ultimate, I use my E to catch back up to her, then I'll use my ultimate to finish her off. But besides that, it's like if you're doing a straight up engagement, they have all the tools. You just want to E up and nail then ultimate right afterwards. Reach. So a Q can reach like ledges like this, but if I want to like go over like here, for example, I need to use my E to get out. So like this E ability is like super broken for movement ability because you can easily reset it over and over, and then it's just like so that's how I'm gonna miss that. But like, but it's also like the fact that it has vertical movement, so that's pretty high up, so you can just get above ledges. So I'm wondering if I can actually do something like this, where I jump up here and then do this. Almost actually. Hold on, I think I can get it to work. If I angle it right, I think I can make that jump possible. I just need 1110. There we go. Let me try that again. It may be easy to do on the other side, but I'm actually curious if I can make this work on this side. So, just not quite. That's where having like the movement speed maybe makes that difference. I wonder if it's like, I know if I take this blast plant, then it's very possible, but I want to see if it's possible to do without it. So I do this. Nah, it's not quite. It's just barely short. That's a little bit bummer, but then if that was possible, then that would be really stupid in being able to try to catch her, because then she can just jump through multiple ledges, right? So I think we showcase enough on like her ganks. I kind of want to see if I can try to cheat some of this stuff, because like I think I was testing this earlier. You can get above this with your Q alone. So if I do like this, yeah, you can see I can jump above that, and then you're still running away from people. You can dash away. You can easily like reach above this with your E and just do like that, for example. And then like you take that to get escape people, then you like Q upwards. Like she's interacts with the map pretty dang well. You can get over most stuff pretty dang easily. I'm actually curious like about this right here. Like, if I jump through here, yeah, it doesn't quite reach yet. Yeah, it's gonna be really fun to kind of like see all the different gank routes that she can take. I think we saw most of it, but I think there's more that's yet to be discovered. Like, if I, for example, like take this blast cone right here, I do something kind of silly and do this. That's like all that terrain right there, so not quite. Oh, hi, Wimpy.
Savor your final breath.
He's rumbling. Alright, but you see how many resets we got on her E? Right? And I mean, we didn't really have a lot of ability haste, so... Oh, we actually had 30 ability haste. I think that was added after I got the blue buff, but still, like, this is what I mean. This is the threshold you need to be able to spam your abilities back to back to back. If you need at least 30 ability haste, and you have to get that with, like, maybe at least 2 items. So like, yeah, if you get these 2, you get 30. But you still want to, you want like, your end goal is to get like 50, 60 ability haste. Like, she's that kind of hero that you want to build as much ability haste as you can. It's just like they're all diminishing returns. It's the only thing you have to watch out for, I would say. But like, you still want to reach some of those like, you still want to build all that ability haste because every like one counts and be able to like have less and less downtime on your hero on B, because that means that you could reset your E faster and faster and faster. So that's why I really emphasize the fact that you want to build at least 30 ability haste on her, because if you don't, right? If you don't build that 30 ability haste on her, then it's gonna get like pretty tricky to like get all these E resets on top of her. Right?
There's still so much.
And you see a little bit like, again, of the resets that I keep trying to emphasize. It's like, you don't always have to dash right away. Sometimes I can play like this, fall back, and then now I can like keep chasing, because I think the whole gameplay loop that you guys are seeing very clearly in my games, it's always going for the E resets. So then marking, and then like E, and then like before I E again, I wait to mark them with my other ability, then go back in, using my basic attacks in between to like, you know, to still do the damage and threat to try to finish them off right afterwards. So I don't think if I use my E right here, will go over this wall. Yeah, I have to use like a Q, for example. Yeah, but I think that's a pretty good showcase of kind of like what I mean on this hero. It's like, for Jordan Clues, it's pretty good. It's not as insane as I thought it was gonna be, right? But it's still like one of the fastest, at least like it's competitive with all the other top jungler clears. Where I can comfortably do my whole red side, do 4 camp blue buff, and have like about 10 or so seconds to kill while waiting on river buff. Like usually when I play other like junglers, like I'll do like those clears and then I just barely make it to river buff while it spawns in. Sometimes you have to be there early before it spawns in to see if, like, for example, if the phase is gonna jump down immediately for it. If you're there early, you can anticipate that and then go for like a quick kill or gank onto that, right? So like that's why like her clears being this good is also really good perk for her. It allows her to be able to jungle those early clears much faster and get to those important time objectives really good. Because it eventually gets to the part where it's like, okay, I'm gonna get mounted right here in a second. I'll showcase what I mean. So when looking at this item recommendation, honestly, I skipped like Pain Weaver to build more ability haste, and then Omen honestly like can work really good with it. But let's say I'm going for more generic build. Alright, so go Tainted Blades, third for the anti-heal, which I don't think that's needed on this hero, but it can be situations. But my whole point is I'm doing 3 ability haste items. So now I'm at 31 ability haste without the blue buff. That's kind of like the threshold I was talking about. And so when we start doing like these clears, for example, now it's much faster because like, see what I mean? I can start min-maxing my E dashes. So like, use it to finish off the camp and jump on right to the next one. Right. So, anyways, let me do a mini plan. I'll do that last, and then we can kind of go from there. It's gonna be a bit faster since I'm fed at 15 minutes, but It still be interesting to see how this plays in because I think Venom is actually going to be it's a really good item on her for the mana and all the stats it gives you, but it makes it clears for like some of these monsters really fast because you do multiple procs really easily. So I do like on B. Oh wait, that yeah, I start doing the button right there. Let's see how I kind of like play right here. Again, use my range break to attack. Doesn't really help a whole lot because I'm not really bouncing, but it does make it easier to stay further away from this mini prime. So I can kind of do this, reset right there. Yeah. So it's pretty dang good for assassin because usually assassins sometimes struggle with trying to do solo objectives. It's more like bruisers, like the Kwang, the Grux, Wukong that can kind of do objectives usually better. But for someone like her, she does it really well, as you guys saw. But I think that's a good enough showcase of a jungle kind of like showcase. I'm really hoping that we do get some 5v5s as soon as possible, right? Because I think like it's really good to do a showcase like this, but what you guys want to see is actual like gameplay of like the hero in an actual 5v5 setting. It's just right now, unfortunately, like the whole like setup for this like build is kind of like we have the build to like kind of dive in, get some gameplay, but we don't have the people to fill in those games and get some proper 5v5. So I think we're gonna get some 5v5s. I just don't know when, and I still have the whole PC thing I got set up, and so that may also delay it because now I have to import everything back onto this new computer. I gotta import all my saves. I gotta change some stuff around, maybe retest my setup, then I can go record some games. So most likely you guys will probably see proper 5v5 gameplay from me on Sunday, but I'll try to see if I can sneak in it on like a Saturday evening tomorrow or something like that. No wait, today is Friday and probably yeah. So okay, so yeah, no, so all this going out Saturday, so you guys may not see anything from me on Sunday, but maybe hopefully on Monday at the very least you can see some actual proper 5v5 Yurei gameplay from JoeYoursTruly. But I think if anything, like this and the whole argument system is all the important information that you guys need to know from for what to expect on this new patch and what the best arguments are and just kind of like how to scale this best play. Just kind of like take some notes so you guys are fully prepared to jump straight into your games and kind of dominate with this hero, right? So that's gonna be it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If not already, consider subscribing to the channel so you miss a single beat by yours truly. But other than that, hope you guys have a great rest of your day here. Peace.